The first update of Fischfest 2 has arrived, and they've added a few new things like a king crab style, a whole lot of new enchant and relic reworks, which we are gonna talk about in a minute, but most importantly we've got two new masteries, one for the Casebound and one for the Lullaby Rod. Starting off with the reason you have clicked on this video, the Casebound buff. Well, looking at the stats, they're exactly the same. We still got the infinite lure speed and max kg, the incredibly high luck and the pretty good control and resilience. But have a look at that, we've got a button for the mastery. There are a couple of quests we can do to get some cosmetics, but we are going to focus on the last one. In order to unlock it, you'll have to obtain the Igneous Rapture Rod, the Tide Mourner, the Verdant Out, the Wind Elemental, and finally the Zeus's Thunder Mode. Now, if you are an advanced player, aka you hate taking showers, you most likely have at least some of these. But for most of you out there, here is how to quickly get them. The Igneous Rapture is from the Scoria Reach. You can buy it after completing the guard's quest and placing all the pearls in the statue, but there will be a guide linked in the description if I don't forget. The Tide Mourner is just a craftable rod which requires 3 Tide Essence, 5 Iron Chunks, 1 Tide Mourner Head, and 1 Moored Moonstone. And good luck getting the last one because it took me over 2 hours of freaking appraising and I ultimately got it from a friend. The Verdant Out is from the Living Garden and you can buy it for 12.5 million CS after completing the Toxic Grove Nectar and Living Garden bestiaries. It's a pretty good rod, especially for making money, but as a quick tip for completing these bestiaries faster, try and obtain the Toxin Burst Rod first. With it you can literally get 80% of the bestiary by just being AFK, and remember, some of these fishes might require you to play some crab cages. The Wind Elemental is from this guy on the top of the Northern Expedition, and he will ask you to get a shiny big bait crate of exactly 12.8 kg. In order to get it, you'll have to appraise a whole lot of times on the treasure island, then he will ask you for a freaking shiny King's Blessing pufferfish, which took me so many freaking hours because the chance for King Blessing is just 10%, and on top of that you'll have to get shiny. And finally, a shiny blessed whale shark using the Seraphic Rod, which is totally the easiest to get. I swear this rod was made for masochists. And finally, Zeus's Thunder Mole is from the Zeus's Lair in the Wrath of Olympus update, and you can buy it after completing the whole bestiary for 18.7 million. Once again, link is in the description. So yeah, you can say this mastery is pretty damn expensive, but now congrats, and here is what you have achieved. First of all, you'll gain 200 durability, which allows you to fish in every single area in the game, so now you can actually use it in the brine pool if you want to farm a ton of money and you don't have the Soul Reaper, the Noise Orb, or the God Breaker. But Jumbo, it's kinda trash for making money because it can directly apply mutations. Shh. Here is where the next buff comes into clutch. Perfect Casts will now give plus 5% starting progress, which is not a lot, but it helps. But most importantly, it will give a 25% chance for Fury, which is the second highest mutation in the game after Ether, but it's the highest mutation you can apply being an 11.7x multiplier. This makes this rod so much better, because before, if you were looking to get a huntfish like a Megalodon, you had to avoid hooking it and then pray you'll get it with a passive. And even then, it was just a 25% chance it would be Fury. But now this will change the meta so much, and we are still not done yet. You probably know that the Casebound has an incredible amount of slashes, which slowly decrease in progress and don't stun the fish. It's extremely fast at catching any fish as long as you hold it within the bar, but what if I told you now it's even faster? After completing the mastery, you'll now gain 50% more slashes, which will make it even easier to catch fishes, especially if you have a good slashing enchant like Tropical. Just have a look at this. I'm not even speeding up the recording, the Leviathan literally didn't even move and I've managed to yoink it. And there is still one more thing I didn't talk about, and even if you have the mastery, you might have missed it. Normally, if you no longer catch the fish, the slashes will stop completely, and it's pretty understandable because how OP this rod is. Well now, after just 2 seconds of casually holding the fish, they'll start again and you have 3 chances to regain them, which means you can finally use the Casebound on fishes with low resilience like the Witherbloom or even the Olympian Devil. I have no idea what went inside of the devs' minds when they came up with this mastery, but I hope it remains like this because this is literally the best rod in the game. But guess what? The good news don't stop here. As I said in the beginning, the Lullaby Rod also got a new mastery which gives a brand new mode. Now, having a look at the requirements, it doesn't really make much sense, but don't worry because that's why I'm here. For the Forever Harmony, you'll have to maintain all of these modes which are resistant, quickening, strengthening, fortress, and prismatic for 180 seconds, but it only counts if they are all active at the same time. But you shouldn't worry that much because the update just dropped and there are thousands of people out there doing this exact quest, so you can all use different buffs and help each other with the grind. Now for the climb, you need to make sure it's a starfall going, and then you have a few options. You can either catch 20 prismatic fishes above the clouds, which by the way you can teleport there now by using the Traveler's Whistle, or you can catch 20 prismatics in the Abyssal Zenith, or you can choose to catch 20 rainbow fishes in the Second Depths. To be honest, it doesn't really matter because you'll have to catch more fishes in these places anyway, so you can go and get whatever you like. Oh, and by the way, they need to be perfect catched and you can't miss any metronome beats. Now going to the collection. You'll have to catch a prismatic harmonic dove from the clouds, a prismatic ancient depth serpent which is a hunt from inside of the depths and appears after fishing in here for a while, a prismatic mythical fish which you can fight in the ocean, but I recommend fishing behind Roselit near the clams. This one for example took me like 1 hour because every single time they were a different mutation, a rainbow Vidglow ghostfish from the Abyssal Zenith which should be fairly easy to get, and now 2 fishes which are even more annoying than the mythical fish. You'll have to get a rainbow ancient kraken and a rainbow angler fish, and I know many of you guys struggle with the angler, so hear me out. You can't get it from the ocean, even though it says like this in the bestiary. The only way to actually get it is at the border of the map in the deep ocean, and be sure to use some squid bait. After all that grind, just go on top of the clouds again, hold and click each of these fishes and this portal will appear. Naturally, go and jump jump in it and you'll get teleported into this zone which looks just like Zeus's lyre. Now all you have to do is go up the stairs and the Serenity Mode will be yours. This was honestly one of the most interesting masteries they've ever added, but considering how weird and complicated the Lullaby Rod was to get, I was really expecting something similar to this. Now, the moment of truth. Was it worth getting this crap? Well, I don't know. It gives a 10% chance for Serenum, which is an 8.5x mutation. Pretty good, and it gives a plus 45% resilience, which I think is pretty crazy, but of course it's still a support rod at the end of the day, so it's up to you if you want to complete it or not. And let's not forget, it also gains a 2 times more progress from the metronome hit, and it will also gain 1% progress for each hit. And somehow things get even better than this. You might remember me about how long it takes to get the Liminal Serenade and how trash it is. The stats of the rod are pretty good, but it's too boring to be higher on the list. It just lacks any progress boosting abilities, and it takes way too much time to get it, so I just can't put it any higher. Well, it just got a huge buff. Here is a quick comparison of what the stats used to look like and how they look now. They literally almost doubled. And there is more. The lemon mutation is now a 6.5x instead of 4x, and even the chance is 8% higher. And now if you hold a fish, you have these yellow drops, up to 5 at a time, which when you release the click will give 5% or 1% progress depending on whether they land inside or outside of the bar. Of course, you can also spam them one by one, it doesn't really make any difference. Now, this rod is actually competing with the Polaris Serenade, and even though maybe stat-wise it's not as good, I really think this new passive makes it better than the Polaris, but it's just my opinion. Even the floaty got some adjustments. Now, its normal progress while holding the fish keeps at 30% instead of 50, and its true progress is only 10% instead of also 50. But at least it got 10% force progress speed, which is not a bad idea because now it's slightly better against progress lock fishes. But keep in mind the bar is still going extremely slow. I'm not changing my opinion, I still think it's a decent rod and you can also add slashes to make it even better. But considering how much the Lemonade Serenade got buffed, now it's totally number 1 on my list, though I'm sorry floaty rod. And now let's talk a bit about the enchant relics and their new reworks. As you might know, affixes are the enchants you get by placing limited enchant relics inside of the sovereign pillars. And then by using a sovereign relic to enchant your rod, the limited relic you've placed will give a 10% chance to get the mutation it normally applies. For example, the new Paradise relic has a 10% chance for the Paradise mutation, which is a 8x multiplier. Well, because of this update, each one of these limited rods will have some special and different buffs. Starting with the Paradise, now it also gives a 5% fish weight, which doesn't really matter, and a 15% more luck. The Beached relic will give 10% more progress speed. The Cupid relic will add 5% lure speed and progress speed. The Eerie relic will now give 5% more progress speed and fish weight. The Festive relic gives 10% more luck, lure speed, and 5% more weight. The Frightful relic gives 10% less resilience but gains 20% progress speed. The Spooky relic will now add a little bit of control. The Tropical relic will now get 5% force progress speed. The Valentine's relic will get 15% progress speed and 5% resilience. And finally, the Santa relic gives 10% more fish weight and has 15% more progress speed. If you are wondering what's with the King Crabsel I was talking about in the beginning of the video, well, he will occasionally spawn in the Fischfest 2 island, and after you find it, you'll have to go and jump on it until it starts the hunt. Then it will take a few hooks, but you can just casually fish it out. It's probably gonna be a requirement for a future quest regarding this island, but as of right now, it's pretty useless. I wanna quickly thank a lot my member Joker for keeping me unemployed, and that's about it.